Good morning, everyone. Today's topic is about carbohydrate in biochemistry. As we all know, in that biochemistry, what it that represent? That generally represent different the reactions, different the processes that are occurred within our body. That is related with the living organism. So this is all the cycles, reaction, processes, this all are happening and that different products are formed. That is under the part of biochemistry, right? So in your syllabus, there are different metabolism pathways are there. First one is about carbohydrate and that metabolism, lipid and that metabolism, nucleic acid introductions and different metabolic product are there, enzymes, this is relating with the biochemistry subject. So first the chapter number 1, that is introductions to carbohydrate. So let's start with this introduction. Carbohydrate, they are mainly the lives of the sweet molecule. We all know about it. It is a major source of the energy from our diet. It mainly composed of three elements: carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. They are also called as saccharides, which means sugar part. We all know carbohydrate is a sugar portion, which relating with the energy towards our body, right? Next one, that are produced by photosynthesis in the plant, such as glucose, are synthesized in plants from carbon dioxide, water molecule, and the energy from the sun, and are oxidized in living cells to produce CO2, H2O, and the energy. As the figure suggests that in a part of photosynthesis, what happening first the sugar molecule is formed, and after some times whenever the energy is required, at some times so what will happen, glucose is converted into ATP or the energy. In your syllabus there are different pathways are there regarding glycolysis for the formations of glucose, right, or the breakdown of the glucose. This all we have covered in next topic. So another one, carbohydrates are the sugars provide the energy when it consumed. Our bodies break down the carbohydrate to extract the energy. We all know whenever the any sugar molecule, any carbohydrate is breaking down, they are hydrolyzed. They will possess some of the energy. We call as ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It is a part of the energy. Carbon dioxide and water molecule are released in that process. So mainly the glucose is a primary carbohydrate which produce energy. And this carbohydrate are mainly classified as biomolecules, right? So in that first one, that called is a simple carbohydrate, and another one is a complex carbohydrate. In that simple one, what is happening, there the simple sugars are there and they are often sweet to taste. Consumption of more sugar than is needed for the energy results in the conversions of this sugar to fat. This is about simple sugar. Second one is a complex carbohydrate that includes the wider structure, includes starch and the plant and the wood fibers known as cellulose. This is an example of complex carbohydrate. Next one, carbohydrates are found on the surface of the cells where they are act as a road signs, allowing the molecules to distinguish one cell from the another. Some of you may know about that our blood group, whether it's A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, O, AB, whatever that is blood group found on red blood cell, right? And these red blood cells are made up of the carbohydrate. So as we all know, what is the different role of the carbohydrate in our body? Because that represent our blood group, and we all know the blood group that mainly distinguishes the blood body's blood type, right? So it's a distinguished process. Next one, the carbohydrate in our body prevent the blood clots. So they are found in the our genetically material. Sometimes whenever the carbohydrates is combined with the lipid molecule, they will form glycolipid in our body. And whenever the carbohydrates are bind with the protein molecule, they form glycoprotein. These are some of the examples of isomers. Now what is the isomers? This all isomers, it means they are having the similar chemical formula, that is C6H12O6. These four examples, glucose, fructose, galactose and the mannose, they all are isomer of each other. Next, most important definitions from this chapter, that is epimers. Sometimes in exam they can write questions like define the epimers or write the definitions of epimers. So at that time you have to write epimers are the sugars that differ in the configurations at only one positions. We all know all the sugar molecule having a sum of the isomers are there, but in that isomer whenever there is a changing in only one positions which describe their configurations, that example is called as epimers. uh, that examples of epimers, first one, that is D-glucose and D-galactose, epimeric at C4. See the structure. Okay, these are the two structures of D-glucose and D-galactose, right? As the structure described that at a C4th positions, there is a changing in that OH and H positions. You can see as in the D-glucose structure, OH is present in right side, while in D-galactose, OH is present on the left side. So this is epimers of each other. Why? Because there is a configuration is changed at only a one position, that is C4. Okay, another example is D-glucose and D-mannose, that epimeric at C2. How? Let's see. Okay, these two are the structures of D-glucose and D-mannose, right? So in that structure, you can see D-glucose. At C2 positions, OH is present on the right side, and in D-mannose, OH is present on left side. So as we all structure say that there is a changing in that OH positions, changing in that configurations. So these are epimers examples. Okay, last one, that is D-iodose and L-glucose. In a similar manner, they are having epimeric form at a C5 position. So these all are examples of epimers. Okay, next one is enantiomers. It is a non-superimposable complete mirror image, differ in the configurations at every chiral center. We will discuss this enantiomer topics later because it's all syllabus that is in organic chemistry. You will briefly describe that. So this is not our biochemistry part. So we are just skipping this part. Okay, different classifications of carbohydrate. Sometimes in the exam, you have read the questions like what is carbohydrate, define it, and write classifications of carbohydrate. You have to just simply say though what are the different carbohydrate introductions and go for the classifications. So they are mainly of three types: monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. And sometimes they are also called as oligosaccharide. Monosaccharide, disaccharide, oligosaccharide, and polysaccharide. And different examples of all the classifications. Yes, in that you have to write, just give brief introduction of monosaccharide, di, and polysaccharide, and all the examples relating with three sugars part, right? And brief introductions about in just 2 or 3 lines. That's it. Okay, so first one is monosaccharide. Monosaccharide, as name suggests that mono, it means single molecules are there. So obviously they are having a smaller molecule. So they are the simplest carbohydrate. They cannot be broken down to smaller carbohydrate because it's already a smaller molecule, right? In a disaccharide, of course, the name suggests di means two molecule. So whenever the two monosaccharide, two small monomers are combined and they will join together, they are called as disaccharide, and they can be split into two monosaccharide. So whenever we hydrolyze the disaccharide, we have got two molecules of monosaccharide. Okay, that example is sucrose, table sugar, that can be broken down into glucose and fructose. So you can see that whenever the sucrose is hydrolyzed, they will convert it into two monosaccharides. First one is a glucose and second one is a fructose. Okay, the next one, that is oligosaccharide. It is also part of polysaccharide. Why? Because in a disaccharide, what is happening? There is a two molecules of monosaccharides are there. But in case of oligosaccharide, whenever there are 3 to 9 monosaccharide are combined with each other, they are called as oligosaccharide. These oligosaccharide are mainly useful for the blood group. It is responsible for the distinguishing between your blood group. Right? Okay, so next last one is a polysaccharide. So as we all know, single molecules are monosaccharide, two molecules of that is disaccharide, 3 to 9 is called as oligosaccharide, and the last one that is polysaccharide. They are the large molecules containing 10 or more monosaccharide units. They are called as poly. Obviously, in the name is a poly means more number of there are more numbers are there. So carbohydrate units are connected in one continuous chain or chain can be branched. As you can see in the figure, first shows that monosaccharide, single unit, disaccharide, 2 units, oligosaccharide, 3 up to 9, 3 to 9, right? And polysaccharide, 10 to up to 10,000, right? So this is a differentiation between the different classifications of carbohydrate. Okay, so let's start with the first one, that is monosaccharide. We all know the monosaccharide, the most important part is glucose. Glucose is the most abundant monosaccharide in a nature. It's also known as dextrose, blood sugar, and a grape sugar. Glucose is broken down in cells to produce energy because it is a source of energy. We all know what is happening in the diabetes. Diabetic patients have difficulty in getting glucose in their cells, which is why they must monitor their blood glucose level regularly. So what is happening in the diabetic patients? The patients have sugar part in their body, but they are getting difficulty to getting glucose in that cell. Right? Glucose is present in the body, but they are difficulty to getting in the glucose, difficulty to getting in that cells. Right? So that is how diabetes are occur. Okay, so next one is glucose is one of the monosaccharides of sucrose, lactose, as well as polysaccharide, glycogen, starch, and the cellulose. Okay, this is all example. Sucrose and lactose is example of disaccharide, while glycogen, starch, and cellulose is an example of polysaccharide. Okay, continuation in that monosaccharide. Okay, next one is a galactose. Galactose is mainly found combined with the glucose and the disaccharide lactose, which is present in the milk and the dairy product. Right. Next one, a single chiral center, specifically C4 in galactose, is arranged opposite that of glucose, which makes diastereomer of glucose. So diastereomers that differ by one chiral center are also called as apimers. As we discussed earlier, what is apimers? Yes, there are sugars differ at one positions. And what is happening in the diastereomer? Diastereomers that differ by one chiral center, almost one carbon, and their configurations is changed. So they are also called apimers. Okay. Okay. So next one, less than 1% of CHO means aldehyde exist in an open chain form. Right. Predominantly found in a ring form, involving the reactions of C5OH with C1 aldehyde or C2 of keto group. How? Let's see. Next one, this. You can see the structure. First one is a straight chain form. Okay, this is a structure of glucose, right? That is combined into ring form. As you can see, in a straight chain form, the first C1 carbon having aldehyde group, CHO group, right? So as such as less than 1% of CHO exists in open chain form. What it described that most of all the sugar part, all the glucose molecules are existed in a ring form, right? Predominantly found in a ring form. How they are formed in a ring? you can see C1 carbon. C1 carbon aldehyde is combined with C5 carbon, and they form two molecules that can be either alpha glucose, that can be either a beta glucose, right? So you can see that involving the reactions of C5OH with C1 aldehyde or C2 keto group. As the figure suggests that C5OH group, right? C5OH group and C1 group, these both are combined and they form a cyclic ring of the glucose. Now, depending on that positions of the OH, they will describe that can be either alpha or that can be either beta. You can see here in this structure, C1 carbon is combined with C5OH and they form the next cyclic form. Okay, in that part of glucose, right, they are having a aldehyde group in that structure. So whenever in a right hand side you can see this in a structure of alpha glucose, there is a OH position. See the position of OH. Whenever it is below the plane, whenever the OH position is below the plane of the ring, it is called as alpha configurations or they are called as alpha glucose. And vice versa. Whenever the position of OH is above the plane, it is called beta configurations. So that cyclic glucose is called as beta glucose. Okay, this is about example relating with the aldehyde group. Now what about the ketone group? Right, because we all know in the structure of fructose you can see there is a straight chain form C double bond O. Ketone groups are present at second positions. So what is happening in that? Again, same C5 OH group is combined with C2 ketone group, right, in a ring form. So as the name suggests, this third line involving the reactions of C5OH group with C1 aldehyde or C5OH with C2 ketone group. So whenever there is aldehyde group are present, there is a presence of C1 and C5OH. And whenever there is a ketone groups are there is a combinations of C2 and C5OH. Okay, 6-member ring structures are called as pyrones and 5-member ring structures are called as furanoses. This is the examples of different sugar. Okay. Okay, so next one, mannose. Mannose is a monosaccharide, is mainly found in some of the fruits, vegetables. Okay, another example is a cranberries. Cranberries having a higher amount of the mannose, which we all know cranberries are widely used for the treatment of UTI, urinary tract infections. So mannose is a epimers of glucose, right? As we have also seen the first structure of mannose and the glucose. See, structures of D-glucose and D-mannose. All are having a similar chemical formula, differ at only C2 positions, only about second position of OH described, whether it is the glucose or mannose, right? Okay, the next one, fructose is a ketose, commonly referred to as a fruit sugar or levulose. Fructose is a combined with glucose to give a sucrose. So whenever the glucose is combined with the fructose, they will possess sucrose, mainly found in the fruits, vegetables, and the honey. These are the commons. Fructose is not a epimer of glucose, but it can be broken down for energy in the body. Right? Okay, so next one, different oxidations and reductions reactions are there. Okay, why they are going for the oxidation reduction reactions? Because the saccharides containing aldehyde or ketone group. So aldehyde functional group can undergo oxidations by gaining oxygens, or it can be undergoes reductions by gaining hydrogens. Right? So during oxidations, what is happening? Aldehyde form carboxylic acid, and during reductions, they form alcohol. Right? So in monosaccharide, oxidation produced sugar acid and reduction produced sugar alcohol. Okay, this is example of Benedict test. You can see whenever the aldehyde is go for the oxidation, they will possess carboxylic acid, and whenever aldehyde go for the reduction process, they will possess alcohol. Right? So Benedict test, what is happening? It is useful test to determine the presence of oxidation reactions that occurs with sugar. So I think you all are going for the Benedict test during our lab practical, right? This is just a practical part, so I just skip it. Okay, next one is the disaccharide. What is happening? How disaccharide are formed? It is a type of condensation and hydrolysis. Whenever the two sugar molecule, two monosaccharide are condensed with each other, they form a disaccharide. And whenever they got hydrolyzed, they will another converted into two monosaccharide. Right? The OH group that is most reactive in monosaccharide is one on the anomeric carbon. When this hydroxylic group react with another hydroxyl group, it's called as glycosidic bond are formed. How they are formed? Let's see. Okay, in the structures of disaccharide. Okay, the first two part, monosaccharide alpha D glucose and monosaccharide alpha D glucose. Similarly, having a two molecules of D glucose. They both are combined and they form disaccharide. That name is a maltose. Okay, you can see the red line in a structure. OH and H part is removed as water molecule H2O, right? So what is happening? The second sugar molecule oxygen is combined with first sugar molecule's carbon and they form COC, Lipoph bond. This bond is called as glycosidic bond form. That are mainly okay in the structures of maltose. They are acts as a alpha positions, right? Formations of glycosidic is examples of type of organic reactions. As we are studying biochemistry, we have to study in living system what are the different processes are occurred. So this is a in living system this process are occurred, right? During these reactions a molecule of water is eliminated as two molecules join. Next one, condensation reaction is a type of reactions when two molecules are joined, a water molecule is produced. This type of reactions is referred to as a dehydrations. Why dehydrations? Because there is a removal of water molecule are present. You can see this reaction. Hydrolysis reaction, it is a reverse of condensations. Whenever the large molecule forms two smaller molecules and water is consumed as a reactant. So, vice versa. The large molecules are reduced into two smaller molecules and a water. Right? This is a hydrolysis process. Okay, you can see this figure. These are the two monosaccharides, OH groups are there. They will remove the water molecule and glycosidic bond, C bonds are formed. You can see in that first figure, two molecules from one. It is condensations. One molecule forms two. It is hydrolysis process, right? It is just simple example of condensation and the hydrolysis reactions. Okay, next one is regarding disaccharide. Okay, in the case of maltose, the glycosidic bond is specified as alpha 1 to 4 and is simply stated as alpha 1 4. Why alpha 1 4? We will discuss later. And if the OH group had been in the beta configurations when glycosidic bond was formed, the bond would be in the beta 1 to 4. Right? The molecule formed would be named cellobiose and would have different two-dimensional and three-dimensional shape than maltose. Okay, you then see the structures of maltose and cellobiose. What is happening in the structures of maltose? It is a alpha 1 4 glycosidic bond. Why alpha? And in structures of cellobiose, there is a beta 1 4 glycosidic bond. Now another we have a questions. Why this both are having a 1 4 joints condensations are there. So why one is a alpha and second one is a beta? right? This is our question. So next we will discuss on that. Okay, see the structures of maltose, right? Glycosidic bonds is at alpha 1 to 4. Okay, see the last line. Free anomeric carbon is stated here. In that, see the position of OH. It is below the plane, right? As we earlier discussed, whenever there is OH position is below the plane, it is called as alpha configurations, and whenever the position of OH is above the plane, it is called beta configurations, right? So that is how examples of maltose. So as we all know, it is a malt sugar formed by the breakdown of starch. Maltate barley is a key ingredient in the beer, contains the high levels of the maltose. The starch goes through hydrolysis to form a maltose. This process is halted by the drying and the roasting barley seeds. Okay, so one of the anomeric carbon is a free, so maltose is a reducing sugar. You can see at the last, right? You can see all the OH position is below the plane. So that is a part of alpha configurations. That's why we have represented it alpha 1 to 4. Why? Because at alpha configurations, one sugar molecule is bind with another molecule's fourth carbon. As you can see in that structure. Okay, next one is lactose. Lactose are mainly found from the milk products or the milk products. Milk and the milk products are there, right? Intolerance of the lactose can occur in people who have low said ability to produce enzyme lactase, right? So in that glycosidic bond is beta configuration. So beta 1 to 4. Another again also they are having anomeric carbon is free, so that lactose is a reducing sugar. Okay, you can see the figure of beta D lactose. Okay, lactose are mainly found from the milk product, right? Again, see the structures of OH position, right? They all are above the plane. It means above the plane they are having beta configurations, and the second is a free anomeric carbon, so they will act as a reducing agent. Okay, why they act as a reducing agents? Because they are having a free anomeric carbon. In a taste of Benedict, we will what is happening? Benedict reagents is combined with this free anomeric carbon, and they will possess color change, and you will confirm your your present compound is having reducing agents or not, right? Okay, last one is a sucrose. Sucrose is known as table sugar. It is the most abundant disaccharide found in the nature. Sucrose is found in the sugar cane and sugar beets. Okay, another example is beta configuration 1 to 2, right? Both anomeric carbons of monosaccharides in sucrose are bonded. So sucrose is not reducing sugar. It will not react with Benedict reagent. See the structure here. Both anomeric carbons are condensed with each other. So they are having a no free anomeric carbon which is reacted with Benedict. So sucrose cannot react with Benedict reagent. So it is a non-reducing agent, right? As the figure suggests that it is alpha beta 1 2 glycosidic bond. Why alpha beta? Because you can see the glucose unit is a alpha configurations, and the fructose unit it is a beta configuration, right? Next one, our last classification, that is polysaccharide. As suggests name, poly means they are having a larger molecule connected with each other through their anomeric carbon. There are two types of polysaccharide. First one is a storage polysaccharide, and second one is a structural. So in the part of storage polysaccharide, that mainly contains glucose units. And the important ones are starch, glycogen, and the amylopectin. While in case of the structural polysaccharide, they contain only beta glucose unit. While in that first storage, it also contains alpha glucose. See the difference. In the storage, there is a alpha glucose. While in case of structural, there is a beta glucose. Right? In the structural units, two important ones are cellulose and the chitin. Chitin contains modified beta glucose unit. Okay, polysaccharide mainly of two types, homopolysaccharide and heteropolysaccharide. Now the name suggests homo means similar. So all monomers are having a similar, right? That example is glycogen, starch, cellulose and the chitin. While in case of hetero, there are having a different types of monomer. Because what is happening in polysaccharide, there are different large number of monomers are there. While these monomers are similar, they all are of same molecule, that is called homopolysaccharide, and whenever these monomers are changed, differ, that called as heteropolysaccharide. That example is peptidoglycan. It is a layer peptidoglycan. Okay, first start with amylose and amylopectin. Starch. Starch is a mixture of amylose and amylopectin. Amylose are makes up to 20% starch and is made up of 250 to 4000 D-glucose unit. Bonded alpha 1 to 4 in continuous chain. Right? While in case of amylopectin, it's make up to 80% of the plant starch and made up of two D-glucose unit connected with alpha 1 to 4. So you can see amylose and amylopectin both are having a alpha 1 to 4 configuration. Okay, in same about every 25 glucose unit, amylopectin is branch of glucose units are connected to alpha 1 to 6. While starch undergoes hydrolysis of alpha 1 to 4 bonds to produce glucose and maltose, which are very sweet. So you can see that structure of starch. What is happening? There are mainly of two parts in starch, amylose and amylopectin. Right? In amylose, they are act as alpha 1 4. Again, in amylopectin also it is alpha 1 to 4 configurations. But every 25 glucose unit, their configuration is changed. What is happening? Similarly, 25 molecules having alpha 1 4. Then 26th glucose molecule having alpha 1 6 glycosidic bond. And another, again, repeat the process. Again 25, 1 to 4, then 26 number is 1 6 glycosidic bond. That is how that polystructures are formed. Oh, you can see the structure, right? These are the structures of polysaccharide. Starch. Okay, first one is the unbranched chain of amylose. It is a 1 4, right? And you can see this branched chain, right? These are. You can see the structure. Nature. Last one was the 1 4 1 4, and in between there is a 1 6 glycosidic bond. So it represents structures of starch. As we all know, starch is gained from the potatoes. Next one, glycogen. Glycogen is a storage polysaccharide found in the animals. It is mainly stored in the liver and the muscles. We all know whenever our body needs the glucose, glycogen is hydrolyzed into glucose, right? It is a polysaccharide mainly stored in our muscles, right? Similarly, like amylopectin and okay. Next one is a structural polysaccharide. Cellulose. Cellulose contains glucose unit bonded beta 1 to 4. These glycosidic bond configurations changing the three-dimensional shape of glucose compared to amylose. Why? The chain of the glucose unit is straight. This allows chain to align next to each other to form a strong rigid structure. Okay, you can see the structure of cellulose. This type of structures are there, right? Fibers form the aligned cellulose. That is how cellulose are structured. You can see this is a structure of beta 1 4. Okay, next one is regarding blood types. As we all know, carbohydrates are mainly produced on red blood cells. Which red blood cells are representations for the differentiations of your blood group, right? So this is just all importance of carbohydrate, that classifications and different examples of monosaccharide, disaccharide and polysaccharide. Thank you.